Welcome to the Lend Academy podcast, session number 5. Hi everyone, this is Peter Renton and thanks for joining me here on the Lend Academy podcast. So today we are doing something a little bit different. We are going to move over to the other side of the peer-to-peer lending equation and talk with a borrower. Now, as investors, we're investing in borrowers all the time, but we actually don't ever get to talk to them. We don't really get to know them. So on the podcast, what I want to do is on a regular basis, bring in borrowers so we can get to know them a little bit. I will ask them some questions, get to know the different people who are using these platforms to borrow money. So today we have Ivy, who is a Lending Club borrower from New York and who I actually met at a meetup in New York back in 2013. And she is someone who's passionate about peer-to-peer lending and she's a borrower. So I hope you enjoy learning more about Ivy. Thanks. Welcome to the podcast, Ivy.
Hi, Peter.
Okay, well,
thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So why don't you just introduce yourself, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you do for a living and that sort of thing.
Right now, I work for a nuclear fusion research company at LAP05.com, and we are basically funded by international investors. And this has helped me actually sort of become debt-free within the last few years, as I've been burdened with college debt and the other usual things of today's personal life.
So did you said nuclear fusion? Is that what you said?
Yes, it's a nuclear fusion without nuclear waste, and our results are really top line, and we are doing crowdfunding right now.
Wow.
So
cool.
So it's in progress. Yes.
So what do you do there?
Well, officially, I'm a chief information officer, but we all do everything.
Right, you're a startup, I take it, yeah.
Yeah, I record the videos for educational purposes, also for our marketing. I'm organizing volunteers right now, and also just reaching out. We're redoing our website, our database needs help. I mean, you name it, we're doing it.
Interesting. So let's just talk now about your borrowing experience. So first, I want to talk about how did you first hear about peer-to-peer lending?
In 2007, I was working for a firm in Manhattan, and a colleague's boyfriend actually mentioned a site, Prosper.com, where you could basically do P2P lending. And ever since then, it's stuck in my head. But I don't know why I didn't act on it. I forget. However, 2008 and 2009 disasters happened meanwhile.
Right.
And along the way, I learned about Debtors Anonymous and really decided that I need to be debt free and get all of that college debt behind me and so on. So I think it was 2012 when I was Googling, really looking for alternatives because I did not want to get another loan from any of the banks, which I thought really should have been shut down in 2009. So I did not want to help their business more than I'm already helping unwittingly. And luckily, I found Lending Club. That was not the first company I found. I think first I found either eLoan or Prosper again.
Right.
But the ratings and basically the chatter online about either wasn't too good. And I applied, I think, to one of those first before I applied to Lending Club. And it was really infuriating to see that they did not keep with my current credit score, which I do check every month, and which was, at the time, I would say maybe 690 or something like that. They had me much lower.
Oh, really?
And actually, they denied me. And I was really disappointed because I knew they didn't have something right there. But luckily, Lending Club did get my score right. Maybe it was even higher than 690, I forget. And at the time, I had maybe about $7,000 on 14% interest rate on the credit cards.
Yep.
All the way to around 21 or 22. Now, I did not get this high interest rate because I was a bad girl or because I wasn't paying my stuff on time. I got it because banks were screwing up big time because, they got their end of that deal in 2009. And so it just, it passed it back down to us consumers. And that really maddened me. I mean, seeing how much money I was paying in interest rate really made me mad. And a possibility of getting, I think, as low as 6.7% on the lending club was good enough teaser for me to get me to apply.
Okay.
And so I applied, and I think within 3 days, they were collecting the investors who were interested in me. And
Okay. So let's just talk about that first loan. When did you take that out? And do you remember the interest rate and the loan terms?
So I think I applied around, maybe it was April 2012, somewhere there.
Yep.
And I didn't know what was going to happen because I didn't know how this all worked. And so it turned out they needed few days to not only check my credentials and credit score and so on, but to also find the guy on the other end of the fence, the investors who would be willing to actually take some risk with me. Not that I was high risk, but so I ended up asking for around $6,000 or $7,000.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 3 days, I think they have gathered a total of about 150 investors.
Okay.
And an average investor basically borrowed $25 from me. There were few who maybe gave $100 or $50. The 25 was just about, the majority.
Right. Sure.
And I was able to see day into day how many more people jumped onto my borrowing. And you don't see the names, you just see there's a person there who, is taking the bet from you.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to watch. And then after 3 days, finally, they approved everything, the money was there, and they just deposited directly on my checking account because, they get everything from you as far as your financials, including, signing in blood that you will pay back.
Right.
They get your DNA and everything they need to, they'll find you.
So what was the interest rate? Do you remember?
So I ended up getting 11.4,
mm-hmm.
which still was better than the rates that I was trying to beat, which were 14.5 all the way to 21, 22,
right.
which, let me just mention again, were so unfair.
Right.
If I have at least defaulted on payment once, but I did not. So it was just maddening. So 11.4 was good.
Right.
And I started saying that I forget, I might have taken 2 or 3 years deal of paying back.
It would have been probably 3 years. Yeah, they don't have a 2-year option, so it was probably 3 years. Yeah.
Yes. But then within a few months, I got greedy. So all of a sudden, even 11.4 looked like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wait a minute. I'm still paying here a bit. So after a couple of months, I was like, you know what? I can kill this. In soon. And I actually ended up doing that within no more than 6 months. I think within 5 months, I actually ended up paying way, like thousands. And It just felt so good. Part of the reason it started feeling so good was that sometime by the 3rd month, once everything actually in the background goes through the credit agencies, once it all propagates within the system, it takes like 3 months. All of a sudden, my score actually jumped to like 715 maybe, somewhere on the border with 720.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, all of a sudden I'm getting 0% offers from all of the banks. Balance transfer for like 15 months, 18 months.
Right.
15. And of course, you got to play the game. So the rest of my debt, I remember now what I had. I had a total of about $30,000 at the time. I just shuffled around. I think even some of the lending tree that maybe a few thousands, I actually shifted to 0% offer.
So hang on. So you got a 0% offer, and you used some of that money to pay off the lending club loan that you had. Okay.
Well, yeah, because why would I be paying 11.4?
Sure. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. But altogether, as I say, it took about 5 months. I don't think it took even 6 months.
From the time you actually got the loan to the time you fully paid it off, it was about 6 months. Okay, that makes sense. Because it's interesting that I hear that a lot where borrowers, their credit score actually increases after they take out a loan because they've got a larger revolving credit balance with they start paying it down, and it looks like there's no delinquencies. You've got more. You actually have more available credit coming, particularly when you start paying off your credit cards. So that's so it's interesting that you took advantage of that by utilizing the 0% offers. So where do you stand now? I mean, you obviously you've paid your credit card off. Have you paid off your 0% offers that now after a while, and they go up well over, they go up into higher, high interest rates. So where are you at now with your debt?
Well, another thing that I changed in my life habits at the time when I decided I want to be debt free is that even the 0% offers that I got, I decided I want to pay it off while I'm on the zero.
Yep. Good
okay,
idea.
so I'm not doing the minimums. I broke it down to whatever 15 months divided by the total amount owed. So I'm paying that monthly so that by the end of the offer, I owe zero. And I only have maybe one left that I'm still doing that with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I considered even like paying that earlier in cash, but it's like, why? I still have some student loan to pay, which is at 2%, but still.
Well, if 0%, you may as well make it last for while you're paying 0%. That makes sense. Just use that money.
It's not only that. It's like I'm now at a point where I actually want to be on that side of the fence where I am an investor investing in those like me.
Sure.
So I have to answer to myself a question. Well, should I first off pay off my low interest debt, or should I actually start investing in others? It's not clear where I get more value.
Yeah, it's funny. There's been a thread on the Lend Academy forum about that exact idea about using some of these 0% offers to then go and invest in loans. I mean, it's okay as long as you're really you don't want to. What you don't want to do is get to the end of your 0% and you go up to like 16% and you're invested in loans that are paying you 9% on average. I mean, that's the thing you don't want to do. Yeah, but it's certainly. I mean, I appreciate that. I hear a lot of borrowers once they pay off their loan end up turning into investors and wanting to participate on the other side of the equation. So that makes sense. So then it sounds like you've got your financial house fairly well in order. You're not going to be in the market then for another loan anytime soon from Lending Club or Prosper?
Well, I think if I do, I'm going to be as an investor.
Right. Okay.
I basically I'm $7,000 shy of being debt free, and that's not even credit cards. I mean, that's maybe $1,500 on the credit cards, which is nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, the only other debt that I would ever take would be mortgage.
Yep.
But I don't believe in our system enough to put myself to basically another mortgage. I consider my college debt a mortgage. They impose on young people today, but instead of a house, you get nothing. So,
well, you get an education, supposedly. So.
But that's kind of obsolete. By the time you graduate, you have to relearn everything.
Right. Well, that's a whole other issue. But
and so I think I'm not going to go with any more loans like that.
Right.
I'd rather be on the other fence and actually lend to other people.
Okay. So then, when you just one last question here, did you do what research? You said you went to eLoan and Prosper and tried to take out a loan, and so it sounds like you were looking for all the other options when you were doing this, and it sounds like Lending Club ended up being your best choice. So, were you just going out there looking online for different options? Did you go and look for for a low interest credit card, or were you just really looking online for those ways to pay off your credit card?
Yeah, I did look for a long time before I started looking into P2P lending. I did look for a long time for lower interest rates, and I think it's almost impossible to find. I don't know why. And even the balance transfers, it's hard to get them. And then when you do, it's always some teaser. Plus, it costs money also to do the transfer. And I've done a lot of those. So I just tired of that game, and I wanted to bring a new player, on my table.
Yep.
To sort of even out the players and the risk and so on. And I think that was a great move. Yes, I do wish there were more players other than Lending Tree and Prosper at the time, but there were.
Lending Club, actually. Yeah, that's okay. A lot of people make that mistake. It's Lending Club, not Lending Tree. Lending Tree actually does loans as well.
Sorry, yeah, it's Lending
but they're
Club.
Not peer-to-peer, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
And but there weren't that many other options. So,
right.
I did not like it, and Lending Club had good rate, good chatter about it online. Whatever I looked and read about it, it seemed like low risk, so I felt comfortable.
Yep. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. I think that's great, and we certainly wish you we welcome you with open arms when you come over to the investing side of the equation. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wish somebody explained to me how that side works. Actually.
Well, I've got. You just spend some time on Lend Academy. There's a whole wealth of information about.
Yes,
about
actually, I've been meaning to. Yeah, so I have to go there.
Yes, you do. Okay.
I do.
Well, I really appreciate your time today, Ivy. Thank you very much. It's always good to hear from the borrowers, and it sounds like you've had a good success story with your peer-to-peer lending loans. So, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Peter.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed hearing about the other side, a borrower story. Ivy, I think, is pretty typical when it comes to borrowers insofar as she is really looking to get out of debt. She wants to be debt-free, and she actually wants to join us over here on the investor side. And I am going to be bringing these stories to you, as I said, on a regular basis. I believe it's important that, as investors, we just see these loan descriptions, or oftentimes we're just investing blindly in an auto invest program, which is what I do. And so I don't even get to read the descriptions that much. So I think it's important for us to pause every now and then and look at the borrower side and get a picture of the real people who are behind these loans. So on that note, I'm going to sign off, and I will catch you next time. Thank you very much.